Hey everybody, welcome back. I know it's been a couple weeks since I posted a video, but I've been extremely busy being a responsible adult. So if y'all remember, my dog Elvis had to have surgery, so he had that surgery last week. And he is recovering nicely, and I'm a whole lot more poor because of it, but I love my dog, so I had to go ahead and do it. Cash, our rescue Great Dane, he's doing really good. He's up to 137 pounds now. We took him to the vet the other day, had him checked out. He's doing really well. Also, we've had him, I think, just over a month now, and he's put on probably 20 pounds, and he's doing really good. Still a few issues every now and then with the other dogs whenever they're all eating, but for the most part, everybody's getting along and everything is doing pretty good. So I've been working on just some decals and making some repairs to the layout over the last week. It's warmed up enough where somehow some of my track has kinked, and I've had to repair a couple kinks. But I'll show you what I did there here in just a minute. But I can't remember if I talked about these two GP35s last time. These are ready for numbers. And if I remember right, they're in the 600 to 609 number series. I still need to do the number boards and then start putting on the details, and these are going to be pretty nice. I need a motor for each and trucks for each because when I bought them, they did not have those components. And I'm searching on eBay for them, but what I'm finding is a little pricey compared to what I paid for these, locomotives, and all the details that go along with it. But to have some good operable locomotives, good Cato locomotives, I'm probably going to go ahead and drop about $60 into each locomotive for motor, gears, drive shafts, and the trucks, which will bring my grand total up to probably about $80 to $90 each one. That's before the decoder. So, I mean, I guess that's really about what I would pay for them if I just bought them undecorated anyway. Scroll over here. I got 203 there. I had it up here just as an example so that I could work on number 208. K4 Decals has produced Allegheny Midland diesel, Alco diesel, EMD diesel, and steam locomotive decals, as well as a modern Allegheny Midland decal for the Appalachian lines. The only thing wrong with the decals is when you get them, there's too much space between Midland and road, so you have to cut them in half and space them properly. So make sure you get some good reference photos for that. I got some caboose decals coming for that caboose there in the back, and then I'll paint the other one up. I have a hopper car here ready for some decals so that the hopper back here will have there'll be two of them, two of the 70-tonner 3-bays. I have 3 cars over here that are going to be getting decals. And my friend Dwight told me I need more Allegheny Midland cars on the railroad, but, so I didn't tell him I had some in the works, but I do. So let's come over here. Let's see, which one's this? That's 409. Where's my other one? So I took my other nickel plate, I guess my other Alco C420, which was a nickel plate motor, and I've converted it over to Allegheny Midland as well. It's around here someplace. I had it on a train yesterday, just running it around. I have not started working on the trucks and the gears yet. I'm going to wait till after the open house. I think I'm going to wait till after the open house. Maybe I'll do it beforehand so I can have them running. I think that was the original plan. But we'll see. But I got the new gears from Northwest Short Lines. It took me a couple months to get them. But they're going to go in here, and well, maybe I will have them running for the open house. I think that might be cool. And we'll see. 411's got a few more details on it. I changed the stripes on the front instead of them just ending at the side of the nose where it curves back to the long hood. I went ahead and wrapped them around. I like the way they look, and I have a couple of new locomotives I purchased. I'll show you those. So I'm an Alco guy. I love Alcos. So I picked up these undecorated Stewart Alco C628s. And these will be painted in the same paint scheme that I just showed you. The stripes will wrap around the ends and all that. And I'll have to look and see. I can't remember what the number series is for these two. but I'm looking forward to having these operable. I went to Mike's Trains the other day, spent a bunch of money, and I just grabbed some just odds and ends things. Even though I could go out in the backyard and pick these up, these look pretty good. And they were only $5, so I said, what the heck. And I picked up a darker green, 4mm static grass, so I can start working with that. I'm gonna mix the light green and the dark green. I'm gonna practice a little bit and do some more work. I got a couple of culverts. I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna put some couple more culverts on the layout and start working on those, because they're really easy to put in and have some decent scenery. I have, let's see, over here, this locomotive, this Y3, which is Virginia now, with a nickel plate tender. This is going to become an Allegheny Midland. It's going to be 837. In accordance to Tony Custer's Allegheny Midland steam roster, they did not have two 882s, but I'm pretty sure that's because they were only brass at the time, and he did not have access to those. And you know, probably a bunch of them that didn't run very well. So we're going to go ahead and put these in the 800 series. And I also have a CNO 2666, which is going to become an Allegheny Midland as well, because Tony actually played around with having brass 266s running around his layout, but his curves were too sharp and wouldn't accommodate that brass locomotive. But had there been plastic River Rossi locomotives at that time, he probably would have went with those, and Allegheny Midland would have had them. So I'm going to have 6 of them on the roster, and they'll be around the 950 to 956-ish number series. Let's see, what else we got going on? I think that's it back here. Let's go show you some of the repairs I had to make. Some of the minor changes that I've done. Nothing really significant. Been really busy with the dog, and then before the dog had his surgery, before Elvis had his surgery, my wife had a minor procedure, so been pretty busy the last couple weeks. Been really delivering a lot with Meals on Wheels. I'm a route coordinator with the county as a volunteer, and had some issues with some drivers and stuff like that, but nothing really super serious, but I delivered a couple more days than what normally I do. All right, so right here at this little curve section, for some reason this just popped up. I don't know what happened to it, but when the trains were going across, it was a big hump here, so I had to re-secure all that, and all I did was basically just put some weights on there and glue it back down. Have no idea why that would pop up. This track has been in place for 4 years, probably 4 years, maybe even longer than that. And so there's really no reason for that to pop up, but I got it all put back into position. Had a couple of spots over here on what used to be called the powerhouse lead. I don't know what it's going to be named now, but it's a track here on the outside with the center ballast. Same thing happened right here. Had to fix that, and you still see there's some damage along the ballast line here. So I'll have to add a little bit more. Same thing happened on this curve in 2 other locations. It's like right around in here. I think it was right over here. And so what would I have, or what do I do to alleviate that in the future, right? So I cut an expansion joint right here. Now this track has been in here for this is probably 6 years. This is one of the first tracks I put in, the first tracks I ballasted, and never had any problem with it. So I put in that expansion joints right here, just basically cut, both rails with the Dremel, so that when the rails get hot, they can expand towards here. Now these 2 tracks are going to be coming out eventually, and this section here will be widened when I put the new industry in on this side, which is like some sort of like a heavy equipment manufacturing company. Let's see. I didn't talk about the joints over here. Where are they? So I cut 2 of them right here as well, which normally you wouldn't have to do this because they expand that way to where the gate is at. So I don't know. Never had a problem like that until recently. And then this curve here, this popped up, and all the ballast popped up when I was installing this whole new section, because if you remember, this whole piece here where the roundhouse is at used to sit over there up by that wall. And I had it on wheels, and it got wheeled around over here and moved into position, and the layout flexed a little bit, and all that came up. Now I fixed most of the yard and reapplied ballast and stuff. And for some reason, I've been having some issues over here as well, like right there in the middle of the screen. It popped up, and there's a couple other spots over here where the ballast has come up. And of course, I can't see it now, but I think it's right there. But yeah, not really that noticeable, not really a big deal. So I'll be applying ballast here this week probably. And over here on this main line right here, we'll get some ballast. And then I have to wait to do ballast on the Hudson Coal Mine branch over here until after I get the bridge reinstalled and a little bit of scenery work done over there in the middle, and I'll show you that. Went through and put all the ties in on this turnout that my friend Scott built me, and I picked up a red caboose ground throw, and I'm using an N-scale ground throw right here, and I think it's going to look pretty good. Doesn't look too shabby. Something else I did was, since I used a set of unsatisfactory wheels onto my gate, I took those off because I kind of figured the gate was pretty sturdy and pretty self-supporting, and I just figured I could get away with not even having the wheels on there anymore. So I took them off and had to take the whole gate off, had my wife come out here and give me a hand, and took those wheels off, reinstalled everything, and it sags just a little bit on this end. So while I have it up there, I'll redo the screws on the bottom, which are right over in here, and I'll tighten everything up, and hopefully it'll sit in the right spot. But these are the little wheels I had on the bottom, and evidently these are made for like a conveyor belt or something like that, but they're pretty rough. But they don't matter at all. All right, let's go over here. Let's duck underneath. Oh wait, no, let's not. Okay, in the last video, I talked about extending the old main line on the belt line around over through here and over to a location like right in this area right here. Well, I went ahead and kind of played around with it, and I drew the center line of the track where it would be at, just to kind of play around with it. And I'm going to make a determination here soon whether I'm going to do that or not. I'm really kind of looking at doing it. I think it will be pretty cool to have a train come down the Pincy main line and then come off of that and hit this belt line, and then literally just run through town on the track in the front here. Sorry if that's too fast. And then come around there and then go down to the other end, and then be able to go through the Beltline yard and then over to Allegheny Midland's yard. So we'll see. All right, let's duck under now. Oh, I'm getting so big. Got on the scale today. I'm over 200 pounds for the first time in my life. Mostly muscle. At least that's what I'm saying. My body fat's up around 22% right now. I've been bulking for a while and really putting on a lot of weight, get a lot of strength. I did 275 on the decline bench for 2 reps today. I did 240 pounds on the incline bench today for 2 reps. So feeling pretty good about myself right now. All right, so in the next week, 2 weeks, I'm really going to be concentrating on this, trying to get this area buttoned up. I'm going to get these the 2 approaches here and here glued into place. I'm going to go ahead and secure the middle pier there. I don't think I'm going to do any water here at all now. I think I'm just going to do trees and grass. So essentially, it'd be like a little valley, a dry valley, unless like it was a flood or something like that. But I'm not going to have any water or anything in there because I'm really kind of tired of screwing around with water. Start working on some grass. I'm going to start working on this little movable tunnel here. And this section right here where it's still white, I'm going to start building that up. I got plenty of cardboard out so I can start doing my my ribbing and all that. So my question is, I guess the question is, not my question, but the question, how much of this can I get done before the May 17th and 18th open house? Well, the answer is I don't know, but I need to get off my butt and start doing some stuff. And weather's going to be real nice for the next week or 2. I should be able to get a bunch of stuff done. Probably going to be a bunch of ballast over here. I can do ballast on this side and not have to worry about it interfering in the construction of this scene, whereas I cannot ballast the Hudson branch going through this tunnel until I get all this put together. So, and then once I get all this put together, this whole section here, all these removable pieces will come up, and I will start securing them down with some Gorilla Glue and start putting down some scenery on there and try to get it look decent here as fast as possible. I still have some track that I painted down here I need to sand off. I need to put Hudson 2 back into position, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and paint my my little faux mountain ridge line around here maybe this week or next week. Really what I need to, I ought to get Dwight to come over and help me with that, because he can't mess nothing up. And he's a lot taller than me, so he can probably reach back here and do a little better job with the lines. And we shall see what I can talk him into, because I have his entire collection here. Dwight, I know you're watching. You might want to come over and give me a hand. I hope that sounded as creepy as what I think it sounded. But I think that's about it. Everything's been going really well lately. I have been coming out here doing a lot of stuff, but not anything that's really like, that you can really tell that I did anything. Most of it's like thinking and planning. But let me tell you a ghost story, because I haven't told anybody any ghost stories for a while. So, if you're new to the channel, you're going to hear some ghost stories every now and then. These are 100% true. They're not fake. They're not something made up just to get you to watch. But this actually happens. So, my friend Rod come over the other day, and I was telling him some of the ghost stories. And yeah, I enjoy telling these stories, because when I tell people, you know, their eyes light up. They're like, wait, no way, you're full of shit, Rob. But then, you know, you go out and talk to my wife. She goes, yeah, all that stuff really happens. But so the other day I was out here running trains, like last week. Last week I was out here running trains. Everything was running fine. I turned the layout off. I went inside. I didn't come out here about 2 days, right? So 2 days later, I come out here. I decide I'm going to run some trains. I'm going to shoot a video, you know, just running some trains around. You know, I had a bunch of trains on here all lined up. And I was like, I'll just run around the layout, you know, and, you know, put together about a 10-minute video so I can put something out to keep my views up. And turn the layout on, and there's a short. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I ain't been out here in 2 days. Everything was running when, you know, I turned it off. Now, if you go back about 4 or 5 videos, I had the same problem about 2 months ago, whereas one of the turnouts up by the gate had a short on it. Somehow it had a short. So first thing I did was I went right back to that turnout, and I took it out. And I thought, well, let me see if I didn't do something else to this when I was putting the ties on there again. And turned the layout back on, did the exact same thing. So I started taking locomotives off the track, started looking at every single car, and I got about 300 or 400 cars on the track right now, on the main line and sidings. Started taking stuff off, and I was listening for that noise. It goes, me, you know, it's like it's whatever the sound is, you know, like electrical short sound. You can hear it. And it was over here. I kept hearing it over here. Oh, there's that one I was talking about, that Midland Road 405. She's pretty. And I kept hearing it over here, but once I took all the locomotives off the track, all the cars off the track that were over here, I was just walking around, and I got over here, and I heard it again. Well, I had about 10 flat cars shoved off here into number 6. And those cars have been sitting there for 5 months. I haven't moved them. I haven't coupled any cars up to them. I hadn't done anything whatsoever to them. They were just sitting there, right? Well, I looked over, and the rear flat car was sitting like this off the track, and that's what was shorting it out. So I cannot figure out how a car that had been sitting there for 5 months, that had not moved, had not been touched, I hadn't run into the layout, nothing had happened. So I cannot figure out how that would have happened. So when something like that does occur, I have to blame it on the ghost, because a lot of weird things happen out here that are unexplainable. I hear female voices out here. I can be here by myself, and I've heard the female voices. So I know it's not my wife messing with me. Yet every now and then she'll screw around with me, but she can't keep a straight face when she does do something like that. So I know she's messing with me. But there are a lot of times where I hear female voices. I've heard female voices in my garage, and went out there and turned the lights on, and nobody was home. And my wife and my daughter came home like 20 minutes later, and I told them about it, and we all got kind of freaked out. It's pretty crazy stuff goes around here. But other than that, everything should be up to date. If there's any paranormal activity around here, I will let y'all know. And well, I guess that's it. That's about 20 minutes bringing you up to speed. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate everybody who's been watching videos while I wasn't posting anything. And so just want to say thank you very much. Like, subscribe, comment, and come back here in a few days and see what I talk about next.